Hey, welcome to our Retire Early lifestyle, where we dissect all things that interfere or just enhance our retire early lifestyle. And one of them is misinformation. It's unbelievable to me how much of this is being thrown at us. Apparently there are two sides to misinformation, and in today's Whopper, I find it very interesting that misinformation can sometimes be used in order to achieve a result for the people. Well, I say the people very carefully. At least some of the people, especially those in Seattle, that don't want to go back to work for Amazon in the office. They have been very cozy working from home for the last couple of years. When people have been told that they had to work from home, now they're being given a mandate. Don't you love how this word mandate is all of a sudden, I'm just seeing it all over the place now, used in all kinds of different spheres all over the internet. They're basically just being ordered to go back into the office. It looks to me like the people are pretty smart. They are actually figuring out that going back into the office would be bad for climate change. It's bad for the environment, and it's bad for consumption, of course, because you'd be having to do all of that commuting all of the time, all of the time spent. And so you got to hand it to these people. At least they have figured out a way to use this narrative that is all over the place, to do good for themselves. Unlike some of the other aspects of it, when, I just haven't seen. It seems to me for millennia, for thousands of years, the earth has been able to take care of itself without central planning, which, by the way, has been proven, central planning, also known as communism, to not work anywhere in the world, especially in the last couple of hundred years. But for millennia, the earth has been devoid of central planning, and we have gotten this far, but all of a sudden we're seeing all of this misinformation about how we need central planning to tell us how much vegetation and how many animals we're allowed to have. I do remind people, I have made other videos about communism and starvation. It is historical. It's part of the historical record, unless you went to university. Excuse me, I just couldn't resist. It's a fact, though. I only use facts in my conversation. I get my information from the public domain. The really interesting little tidbit that just is out of this world. Well, all of it is out of this world. Have you seen this? I've seen this article where China is putting in like metal flowers and fake vegetation so that it looks good in pictures. And again, this is just a fraudulent system all the way around, which is what the whole conversation about climate change, global warming, and pollution. Case in point, why is it okay for industry to profit first, creating all of these things? On to the next Whopper. This is somewhat related in that we have a system where companies that have become so huge, including social media companies that are so huge that they're almost institutions. Why is it okay for them to create these products for us to consume, and the byproduct of which is pollution? Like, take for example, companies that are household names like, take your pick, Coca-Cola or something. They create or any company, bottled water, they create this, they make a profit creating this product, but then we're blamed for the pollution or the carbon usage, what have you, and yet they get to profit first from creating these products that create global pollution on a scale that is just, unheard of. And then the people get blamed and get told that they have to, accept global central planning in order to save the earth. Well, what happened is that 3M, a large company, was fined in like 10,000 millions, also known as 10 billion, somewhere thereabouts, because their products emit a certain pollutant that never disintegrates. I mean, these pollutants never disappear, and if they end up in your body, you can't get rid of them. They're so harmful. The problem here is that a company like 3M their income is so much that even having to pay so many billions in fines because of what they've been doing doesn't really correct or justify the fact that these companies are the guilty party when it comes to not saving the earth, and yet the same group of people get to tell us what to do. Does that make sense? Okay, moving on to the next whopper.
How are we going to pull this off? If we tell just a little lie, they'll just shrug it off. It's got to be a really big lie. The bigger the lie, the more believable it is.
That's historical.
Pull what off?
Hey, I got it. What about this?
It'd have to be something everyone, that it could apply to anyone. But most people don't really know much about it.
How are you going to do that?
Hey, I got it. What about, how about health?
Yeah, what if we could turn the common cold or just a virus of some sort, flu disease, make them think it's a deadly disease. Once we've got them scared, we'll have them eating out of the palm of our hands.
Well, listen, we've tried it before and it didn't go according to plan,
Yes, but this time we have all the pieces together. We've got the media, we've got the social media, we've got our people in the social media, we can cut people off, we can censor people, we've got movies. How many movies have been put out where people that don't listen to the scientists are just, nutty people that are always on the wrong side of things. We got China on our side, and so we can have complete control over what people see and hear in the media. So we'll roll it out in steps so we can slowly work our plan. The main point will be to keep them scared. Then get them used to submitting to huge changes from what their life used to be like before, but in steps, a little bit at a time. We can measure their amount of fear by how compliant they are with each step. First we'll roll out the masks, then it'll be mass testing, and in between we'll give them little breaks. We'll give them little breaks in between, and then we'll just see how much of it sticks. They won't push back. They'll be so scared. We can follow them around, go to their houses. We can make them wear these masks where it makes them sick, and that way it'll reinforce our plan. Because the more scared they are, the more they'll wear the mask. The more they wear the mask, the sicker they'll get. Because the mask is just filthy, but they won't know that.
You've got a point there.
But, that stuff, all that stuff goes against the country's constitution. I wouldn't worry about people reading the law, or besides, they'll be in so much fear, nobody's going to be able to reason with them. You can't reason with fear. So that's the whole key to this whole plan, is to scare them. And we're going to have to show them numbers of deaths over and over and over. People dropping like flies everywhere, and this will keep them eating out of the palm of our hands.
You're right. Sounds like a great plan.
And if we can get the cooperation of the commercial establishment, all the stores and all the businesses, that might just work. And then we can, over a period of years,
roll out our complete plan of complete and total control. And that way we can stay on top, and they'll be serving us, and we'll stay on top. We'll live the life of kings that nobody will ever be able to overcome. And they will worship us as gods, and we will be as gods because we can use technology. We have the technology to make our bodies part machines, and we can live forever like gods, and we can control people and be above them like gods. There you go. Well, I don't know. I mean, this sounds like an evil plot. No, this is, hey, whose side are you on anyway? Listen, we've been trying to do this for centuries, and we figured out what works and what doesn't work. We do not have to resort to military conquest to control all of the people. Even though we can have the military in the streets, we do not have to go and occupy that way anymore. All we have to do is use technology and fear to overcome and control. Once it all seems normal, just
You're right, it'll work.
be the kings and the gods we always wanted to be. I'm in. We will be the gods. Let's do it. Nobody else will be the gods but us. This time it's going to work. They won't know what hit them. People won't be able to reason with fear. Anybody that tries to put any information out there is just going to be ridiculed and labeled as a conspiracy theorist, a conspiracy nut. Nobody's going to believe them because, look, they don't even have to put masks on their children, but they're so scared because it's natural for people to want to protect their own children. So they're putting masks on their own children, even though we're not even going to have to require it by law. They're just going to do it naturally because of their fear. They're going to want to protect their children. And so the children will grow up thinking that this is normal. And that's how we're going to slowly roll this out over a period of years, so that we'll allow these children to grow up and believe that the face diaper is normal. They'll have grown up with it. So anybody that tries to say anything to the contrary, this is all they've ever known as children that have grown up in this kind of new normal society. See, the plan is brilliant and it will work. The best way to control the people is to make them want it. You're right. The best lies are the biggest ones. The biggest lie you can concoct, come up with, the better. Let's do it. All we have to do is put out a virus that is infectious.
You're right.
People will never be able to go back to where they were before. Once we roll this out, little by little, our plan will come into complete fruition over a period of time. It's brilliant. You'll see. What a brilliant plan. You know, there's too many people anyway. They're harder to control when there's too many of them. We gotta get rid of a bunch of them. And what better way to do it? You know, this is way better than, you know, any other system that's ever been used before. Yeah. We'll conquer them. And this time, not a shot will be fired. It'll all be just submission, willful submission through fear.
We're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
We'll have them eating out of the palm of our hands. They will worship us for the rest of their lives. It's brilliant. Get them used to having to check their wrists for something, and then they'll grow up with that. The kids will grow up with that, and then we'll just slowly switch what they're getting checked for. Just make them used to obedience and control. You know, just everything they do, whether they're going to a park or whether they're going to a store, whether they're going out, you know, anywhere, make them have to go through a gatekeeper that has to check them with some kind of gadget. Yeah, sounds good. What a visionary you are. Besides, we've got them convinced that there is no God, right? And so then we will be their God.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, and have a nice day.